Welcome back, guys. Today we are going to talk about parallel and perpendicular slopes. Last week you were taught how to determine if a slope, you were taught how to find the slope from a graph and using the slope formula. So we're going to need that information today to find slopes and determine if our lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Parallel lines are going to be lines that have the same slope. Perpendicular lines have what we call opposite reciprocal slopes. So what does that mean? By the opposite, I mean that we change the sign. So if they are perpendicular, one of the slopes will be positive and one of the slopes will be negative. And reciprocal means that we are going to flip the fraction. Here are what graphs look like. Because parallel lines have the same slope, they go in the same direction. Now, last week you learned how to find the slope from a graph. So you should be able to pick 2 points from this line, and you will see that this line has a slope of 1 over 3. So we go up 1 over 3, up 1 over 3. The green line, if you do the same, also has a slope of 1 over 3, which means that these are parallel. Perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes and they intersect at 90-degree angles. So if I find the slope of the blue line, I will see that the slope has a rise of 4 and a run of 3. The green line has a slope of negative 3 over 4. So we go down 3 and then we go over 4. So this is what we mean by opposite reciprocal. We change the sign, this was positive, now it is negative, and we flip the fraction. So from 4 over 3, now it's 3 over 4. So this is what slopes will look like if they are perpendicular. So this is how you will tell parallel and perpendicular from a graph. Now we're going to use the slope formula to determine if the lines are parallel or perpendicular. You learned on last week that the slope formula takes 2 points and we find the difference of the y values divided by the difference of the x values. So you can see here, I have found the slope of line A. And it is x2 minus x1 and y2 minus y1, and we get a slope of 1 over 8. I do the same thing for line B, and we get a slope of 1 over 8. So this tells me that line A and line B have the exact same slope, which means that these lines are parallel. Let's try another example. Here we have 2 lines, line A and line B, and please feel free to pause the video and make sure that you are able to find these slopes on your own. Right? Hopefully you pause the video and try to find your slopes. So the slope of line A we found here, which is 3. And then the slope of line B is negative 1 over 3. And so that tells me that these lines are going to be perpendicular because they are opposite reciprocals. So let's fact check that. Do they have opposite signs? Yes, line A has a positive slope, line B has a negative slope. Are they reciprocals? We must remember that any number can be written as a fraction, so 3 is actually 3 over 1, and so if we flip that, we do get 1 over 3. So in fact, these are opposite reciprocals, which means that line A and line B are perpendicular. Let's try one more. Pause the video, find the slope of line A, find the slope of line B. Right, you should find that the slope of line A is negative 7, and the slope of line B is 3 over 5. Well, obviously these are not parallel because they are not the same, and they are also not perpendicular because they are not opposite reciprocals. So in this case, we will say neither. These lines are not parallel or perpendicular, so they are neither.